is a Turing test. So you have an intelligent machine and you have an intelligent human, right? And a person is asking question, right? So you are asking the question to a machine and machine is responding. You are asking a question to the human is responding, right? So, uh, you know, so what will happen? Okay, now I am asking a question. Can you give me how do I go to, from maybe from the easiest way to go from Cochin to Dubai, right? I'm just asking a question. So it has to, the machine or whatever, right? Or if it's a human, what will do? You will go for book my ticket or some site or multiple sites, and then you will see, which one is giving, better fare or better facility or better convenience, and then you will book the ticket, or you will just there may be multiple routes. Sometimes it may go to Cochin to Mumbai, Mumbai to uh, Dubai, or Cochin to Hyderabad, and Hyderabad to Dubai, Cochin to Bangalore, multiple routes, right? So depending upon the time, depending upon the facility, with the price, you will pick one, right? So there is an intelligent decision you need to take there, right? So you are asking a human will do all the search and then find out, right? 2-3 steps, and then he'll, it may take some time. Maybe he has to go to make my trip, book my trip, or maybe some other spicejet.com, multiple sites, and then take the decision. So it will take some time and see which one is better and all. Okay, now you are asking the same questions to a machine. Machine also will do the same thing. So what machine will do is all the sites it will go and search, and then it will show you everything at once. So you don't have to go to every site and see what are the sites, what are their fare, what are the connection, how much time it takes. All these things you don't have to do. Machine will everything, machine will do and give to us, right? So this is something called agentic AI. That is something called there's a new one called agentic AI, where agent will do all these things. So now the Turing test means, if you are asking an interrogator, a person a question, yeah. So you are asking a questions to a machine, right? And machine is responding. You are asking a question to a human, and human is responding. Now the person who is asking the question, okay, he doesn't know who is responding from the other side, right? So you are just asking the question. Both the machine and the human both are on the other side of the world, and you are asking the question to the machine, or you are asking also human who doesn't know. He is just asking the question: how do I travel from Cochin to Dubai, or what is the cheapest fare, or whatever. Some question is asking, and on the other side, uh, somebody is responding, and then the interrogator doesn't know who is responding, whether it is a machine or whether it is a human, because both the answers are intelligent, right? They are actually giving an intelligent answer, so that interrogator will not know who is answering on the other side, right? So if the interrogator cannot identify who is the responder, whether it is a machine or whether it's a human, he cannot identify, means we can say that the machine is intelligent. So if machine is responding and the interrogator will not be able to identify whether the machine is who is intelligent, right? Whether the uh, uh, whether the machine is responding, whether the human is responding, right? So that is a Turing test. So this was done by Alan Turing long back. So Turing test is, again, you may see in the Google image and all, there are so many places where you can see, right? The human interrogator asks several questions to both, players, based on the answers, the interrogator attempts to determine which player is a computer and which player is human respondent. So, the interrogator, in the case of game, this is the same similar thing. Interrogator is asking human respondent, interrogator asking the computer. So, interrogator cannot identify the response is coming from computer or a human, right? If interrogator cannot identify, then we can say this is the machine is intelligent. So it has got some sort of intelligence. So this is, very simple way. This is the way we can explain what is Turing test. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Turing test means it's a way to test a machine is intelligent or not, right? So a human interrogator asking questions to a machine, interrogator cannot identify whether it is coming from a human or a machine. So that much intelligent. The way it is, answered by the machine is so intelligence, such a way that the person cannot identify uh, whether it is coming from a machine, right? So this test was there long back. This was done during Alan Turing time. So that time, I think it was 1948 or something, right? So these are the way we can find out somebody is intelligent or not. So this is a similar thing. Now, if the baby is intelligent, how do you identify a baby is intelligent? So in the case of AI, we need how do we give the uh, training to a machine? So we need data, right? We are actually giving some sort of data and then asking, giving the machine depending on the algorithms, we are, training the machines. So, uh, so the computer can do complex tasks, right? Earlier, that was done by humans. Now machines can do it, and they can do reasoning. They can make decisions. They can solve problems, right? And the simple example is like smart assistants, like Siri or Alexa, disease mapping, right, and prediction tools, manufacturing, and drone robots. All these, there are AI being used all over these places, right? And optimized healthcare, personalized healthcare, and then recommending treatments, conversational bots, right, for marketing and customer service, and then robot devices for stock trading, spam filters on email, social media monitoring tools, TV show recommendation from Spotify or Netflix. All these are examples of AI systems which can do intelligent things, right? Starting from a simple board. So now today, what happens is, now we were talking about it, generative AI. So for AI, we need data in order to train the machine. We need data, right? So that is the reason people are now telling data is the new oil, right? Earlier, people go to Gulf and all, because even today, right? Oil-rich countries are the richest. Even today, they are richest. But now that trend is changing, right? Now, whoever has got the data, they are the richest. That is the reason because whoever has got the data can train the machine, and the machines can become intelligent. So every country is now fighting each other to develop new models. So model is the brain. Model is the one we train the machine, right? So people are, Europe, they are developing some models. America, some companies are developing their model. Google is developing something. Microsoft is developing something else. Within the country, multiple companies are developing something. India, IIT and all developed something. Tech Mahindra and all developed something else, right? So everybody is fighting each other. And in China, they have made other easy way to train things like DeepSeek and other things. So all are fighting for, to get power in artificial intelligence, right? So why do we fight for this? because if you want to develop a better model, you need to have better data, and then when you have better model, your machine will become more and more intelligent. If a country has got more and more data, they will get intelligent models. So the country can become uh, you know like richer just by AI. So it is a similar case with for us also, right? If you are having a better model, you can be richer. So Sam Altman and all, they have a better model. They become rich, right? They develop a company and then they become rich. And Grok, X.com, Elon Musk company, they have a model, and they becoming kind of number one because they made Grok is actually they have given more and more training, and that is becoming much better, right? So now this is the war of models. So model is the brain, and all these models are being trained by data, right? So, and the advantage of generative AI is basically generative AI, one of the model, actually, see, the model is being developed by training, and the training is done by artificial intelligence, and the intelligence is being given to the machines, and then there are algorithms to train the machine, starting from the normal linear models uh, to non-linear models, right? And there are simulated models. Even 1950s there are algorithms, right, to make to predict things, and then probability and statistics. These are all centuries old, right? All these same principles are being used in all these models. So now a human brain has got neurons, right? So thus neurons are being used for doing the training and prediction and all that things, right? So this is something called neural network, right? So we cannot develop language models, that things, and then neural network is like a human brain has got neurons. So if you Google it, all these are neurons in human brain. So this is the neuron, right? So it has got different synapse, axon, and things like that, right? So similar thing, if you just compare with a neural network, compare with deep learning or whatever. So deep learning is nothing but deep neural network, right? So you can actually do similar thing. So the neuron, the same neuron, you can simulate. So this is a research paper. Okay. So you have dendrites, you have axon, you have cell body. That same thing you can simulate mathematically like this. So if you have multiple neurons, you can simulate this as multiple layers, right? So human brain has got billions and billion, millions and millions of neurons, maybe close to billion neurons, and out of that, we are trying to simulate few neurons. So these neurons are input layer, these are output layer, and these are hidden neurons. So all these are called deep neural network, or we call it a deep learning. And then there are multiple ways to train this deep learning. So one of the model is called transformer, and then uh, GPT is generative pre-trained transformer, and then it can do text, right? It can convert text to vector, and then do cosine similarity and so many tools in between, and then identify the context and context-based answer, and machine can do reasoning and other things based on this GPT kind of algorithms, right? So initially they come up with something called ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is a generative pre-trained transformer. OpenAI released it, and then it is more and more intelligent, right? Where you can ask questions, and then initially it is with the text, then it can go multimodal. You can ask with image, you can ask with the voice, right? All these are possible today, and so now that layer is also coming up, right? So here there is something called generative AI, right? Where the data can be generated, right? So we will eventually know how we can do this, but the basic in a nutshell, a generative AI system will generate the data. So if you have, there are multiple possibilities. So if you are giving an image of a person, right, and then ask him to, or ask the machine to predict how does he look like after 20 years, or how does he was looking like before 20 years, something like some sort of prediction, right? So all these are possible. uh, so in between these models, it can do, all this data it can do by itself, can generate the data by adding noise, starting from zero all the way till 100%. It will try to add the noise, and at certain level it will optimize and then identify, the way, the data needed to train the machines. Okay. So similar thing we are actually using. So now I am going to ChatGPT. I am asking the same question here. I want to develop a dashboard or whatever, right? Or I can ask any other question also. So give me some sample data for a sales dashboard. Okay, so it generates the data basically. So I have date, region, product category, sales amount, and other things, right? So this is a CSV file, and region is north, and the product category is electronics. The product name is laptop. Sale amount is maybe 1,200 something, and then unit sold is one. Customer segment is corporate, and then all other things: credit card, payment method is credit card, discount is 105, uh, discount applied, I mean shipping cost is 25 rupees, profit is 350 rupees. So like that there are many, every day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, every day they have some sales, and then all other things are being done. And so this is a data usually done for sales dashboard. Okay, so now what is sales dashboard? Now, okay, this data, I don't have this data handy, right? I generated this. How? I asked the bot, and then the ChatGPT, right? So generative pre-trained transformer, it generated the data because it had the complete information is being already trained in the Wikipedia, the research papers, whatever available in the whole world is being trained, the system, right? So I asked the question, I got the answer. Right now, there are cases where some of the recent data it may not be available with the ChatGPT, but it will sometime. What will happen is there's a method called a hallucination. It will still try to answer as though it knows everything, right? So these are all some of the demerits, but there are other ways to overcome these things, right? So now ultimately, what is happening is you have the fully trained model, right? From multiple countries, multiple companies, and all. So now it is up to you how you are going to ask the question. Right now, if you ask the proper question and get the answer, these are called prompt engineering. You ask the prompt and it will give you the answer. So if you know the prompt engineering, you have everything, right? You wanted to become a doctor, first thing is, it's not going to medical college and learn the profession, right? You have to know prompt engineering. If you want to learn English, you don't have to go to school and learn English. Do you know prompt engineering? Then that's it, right? If you want to do farming, you don't have to be, born in a farmer house or learn something like agriculture. You just learn prompt engineering. If you want to do manufacturing, right? Do maybe I think last time we were trying to test this third missile. I think there's some system, no? Third system. I think this is American military technology. Drones and all, I think we will just ask. I forgot. So yeah, what is that? terminal high altitude area defense. So this is anti-ballistic missile system. So from one country is attacking other country using a missile, ballistic missile. They use third will identify the profile, and they have some sort of radars, and then in high altitude, fast moving target, it will go and then intercept the missile, basically, right? And this is the missile system being used in Israel or many other part of the world, to protect the country from uh, multiple things. So I am not a defense person. So now I can ask, how do I design this? Okay, so it is giving me all the steps. Okay, now provide me a activity or a design diagram in Mermaid or some script or plan UML. So it created some sort of it's actually having solid rocket motor, everything, so many things, right? Which I don't know anything about this, assuming. And I'm just copying this. Yeah. So, I'm just copying this, right? And then putting it in planned UML. And then I just put this here. So it created the complete design. So I'm not a defense engineer, electrical, whatever, right? I'm just like you. I just asked, and third is the world's top, terminal high altitude, anti, missile system being done by America, right? And that entire design is a top secret, maybe nobody knows. But if you ask ChatGPT, it will give you within minutes, right? And then if you ask about a nuclear bomb, also it will give, right? So now the complete brain is there. You should know how to ask questions. Now underlying this, you can ask so many other things, right? So now this is the third system, high level component design, right? Detection and tracking, right? And then data acquisition, uh, whatever, right? So all these things are, there may be some, accuracy issues, but for that you should have, proper domain knowledge so that you can validate it, right? Otherwise, the time when missile comes, didn't work, then the missile will come and hit you, right? So, I mean, this is actually a very simple example where you can go to any level. You can do mechanical engineering, you can do, doctors. Doctors are almost similar thing, right? It's a human life. So if you want to identify a disease, if you wanted to, find out a medicine for a disease, we need just a few minutes. A good prompting guy can, find out or research or develop a medicine uh, within minutes, basically. And then he has to fine tune it in order to make it product like. So that is the reason now, a lot of vaccination in cancer drugs, vaccination, and then people are now thinking of developing medicine or preventing the death itself, kind of thing, right? So many areas people are trying to analyze using ChatGPT. So all these are done by generative AI. So there are underlying things, uh, I mean, like neurons, and then the same neuron can uh, be programmed in such a way that it can answer like a human or more than like a human. That is called artificial super intelligence. right? So all these are being, the thing which I was trying to talk to you last time, So we had, and I also told you, all this why, artificial super intelligent system will have consciousness, beliefs, desires, and cognition, things. So most of our, AI research areas, right? Our interns and all, we are mostly focusing on the algorithmic side, and then we are also having people who are working on developing applications, uh, who need not be programmers, right? People who are, you know, from any domain can start doing the programming, provided they should know the basic programming logic and concept and things like that, right? So there are so many areas, so many potential, and then you can develop a application within few minutes. You don't have to wait for months and years and things like that, right? So at least a prototype of entire thing can be done, within minutes. So today I am going to just to give you, I think we have only few minutes left, so I'm going to give you a small practical example, right? How we can generate the code, and then do maybe a sales dashboard or whatever using uh, generative AI. So there is a tool called Streamlit. So actually yesterday, I think last time when I was talking about the thing, I was telling you about Streamlit. Streamlit, I think, yeah, Streamlit. So usually we know, when if you wanted to use a generative AI application, you should have some sort of front end, some sort of back end, some sort of coding to do this, and all this can be done by you know we can do all this can be done by ChatGPT, or so there is something called LangChain, right? Usually the backend, you can ask the prompt and then LLM will respond, right? This is a backend, and then uh, you can have, like, you can ask questions to LLM, and then that means a prompt, and then it will basically go and add multiple questions and then get an answer also. So if you're asking something to a machine and a machine is giving you some generalized answers, you can fine tune the answer by giving proper data, additional data to it, right? So that is a way you can get, or you can customize the model, right? So all these are done by something called Streamlit. Streamlit is an easy way we can, if you want to do a LangChain integration or a Python integration or LLM integration, you can do everything done by Streamlit. So Streamlit is a kind of Python library which you can very easily develop things. So I was actually trying to do a small Streamlit application today. Okay, so let me just start. I show you the application. Okay, so here I have, I think, straight away. I'm just doing Streamlit is a pip install Streamlit. Similar to Python, you can install Streamlit, and then I'm giving Streamlit to run test.py is my program. So a simple data dashboard, right? So it really is asking me to browse the file. So I browse the file, and the one of the CSV file I just generated earlier. I'm giving the CSV file, and it generated a preview of the data, generated a summary of the data, and it also generated filter the data. So I can filter this by region, for example, right? So region can be east, west, north, whatever. So I can get, whenever I filter it, my data changes here. So this is the dashboard. This is called dashboard. Right now I wanted to plot the data, right? So I can plot based on the date, maybe, right? And then sales, date and sales. And then, I just click on generate a plot. So it will plot the sales of each day, what is the sales. So all this program I developed within 5 minutes, right? Now I can even deploy this, but that I'm not going to do that now. So all this I can do, in 5 minutes if you have Streamlit and things, right? So now, but to do this properly, you should a little bit understand how the Streamlit is working, right? So okay, so now let me just show you the code. So I will go to the code. understand this, right? Did you understand what is a dashboard means?
Yes, sir, but can you repeat once again this one?
Yeah, see, I am going to show you the
Using
program
string
anyway.
it. Yeah.
So, I have a file, right? I have a file with, some sales in a shop, right? So the shop is selling laptop, mouse, keyboard, and monitor and other things, products. So, and there are customers, corporate customers, you know, retail customers or whatever, right? Multiple customers, and they want to have, the people who are buying their employee ID and the profit. All these details are being given in the file, and that file I wanted to show, uh, you know, like an executive, a CEO of the company or an account finance manager is looking at that thing. I want to see what is the trend, how much I am selling every day, how much of them are sold to corporate customers, and what was my last sales, right? All this information I can get. How do I get all this information in a company? How do I get all this information in a company?
From your data.
Yeah, you have the data, right? You have the data. So I am just opening the data file. So I go to file, open file. So this is the data file. I have given, I got the file here. There is something called test.csv. I think this is the one I was using. Yeah, so this is a data file which I was using. So I got to the date, region, product, sale, unit sold, customer segment, profit, employee ID, rating, delivery, all this data in a file format, which starts from 2023. I think every day sales, going all the way till February 20th. So I think it is 50 data. I think 50 or 51 rows are there, starting from January to February, and then every day how much things are sold and all of things, right? So I can ask, I can filter the data with, by region. I can see how many routers are sold. I can see, what is my profit last month, right? And who are all my customers. All this information, this is actually very simple when it is 30 or 40 data. You can use Excel and you can do it. But if you have millions of rows, for example, in Amazon daily, there may be 1 million sales happening. So it is not very easy to use this Excel and find out all this kind of thing, right? So for that you use I'm basically within the dashboard you'll have warehousing, you'll have data mart, you'll actually have data cubes, and then you can analyze the entire thing, right? There are multiple ways people will do it, but now you're given a file. I'm just giving you a file saying that this is my last 1 year sales. Can you do analysis on it, right? So, and now using this Streamlit, you can develop a program by itself. So this is a program which I developed, right? Which I developed. This is a program, and then which is actually a basic thing like Streamlit, and then Pandas and Matplotlib and all other things, and then a sample dashboard, and then it is asking to upload a file, and then it is showing a summary of the file. It is filtering the data, and then all these things are being done, right? And then I mean, if the CSV doesn't have any data, it is actually giving a warning, right? All these validations also being given, all right? So this entire thing, which is I didn't write this program, which is being done by ChatGPT basically, right? So the whole thing what I did is I just asked ChatGPT here. I mean, this is actually for the third, right? I think somewhere here I asked a similar question. So I asked ChatGPT to generate a code for the complete Python script for the a dashboard in Streamlit form. So it generated that. Right? 1 second, give me 2 minutes. Streamlit code, right? Python code to run in the Streamlit kind of environment. So and it generated everything, right? So what I am trying to say is, uh, with the generative AI, you can generate applications without doing the coding, without knowing the coding, basically. So these are called a no-code kind of tools, right? So there are a lot of no-code tools where it will generate the Python code, generate Streamlit code, whatever, right? And then you can use that for doing the thing. So this is one of the simplest application, right? Where we can use generative AI to generate the code and then run that code in, uh, for an application like this, right? So this is a simple application. So here what I did is, I uploaded the file test.csv. I asked the Streamlit to run this. I did a preview of it. So here you have a data preview, right? So I'm just writing st.write df.head. So df is the data, pandas, right? PD is the one. So they're actually uploading the file, doing a preview. You're doing a data summary. So basically, it's a summary of the data. Where is it? Yeah. So you're doing a data summary of the thing. Unit is sold and things like that. So how many of them are sold 21 days or whatever, right? And 25%, 50%, these are all the interquartile or whatever. And then filter data. Now this is a drop down, right? So in the Streamlit, filter data, right? So I have columns to list. So every column I am filtering it. Where is it? Did I go again? So I'm filtering the data. I can filter by date, I can filter by region, I can filter by, all these are automatic. So the entire application, you don't need to know anything about the coding. Without knowing, you can gather it. Then the value, monitors, how many of them are sold, and then I want to see the, units sold or whatever based on the region. So I just generate the plot. It will generate the plot. I think it didn't sell anything in the key code section, so, or monitor. So instead of monitor, you can put laptop and then generate the plot. Did I generate anything? There is no laptop also. I think there's nothing here. Oh, sorry. I think here I have to change it. So maybe we'll put it there, because these are all generated data. So if you have real data, we can easily find sales. Maybe is a good thing. And then, yeah, if you want to know one particular data, I can just filter them, right? So, or if you want to know like a region, east, west, or whatever, you can filter them. So all the east is coming up, all the west is coming up, right? These are all drop downs. Import the data, right? If you want unit sold based on region, generate a plot, will create the plot for it. I mean, or maybe date. So, I mean, basically, whatever the data you have, you can do it like a dashboard, right? So, the program is done using Streamlit, and then the program is generated using ChatGPT. The data is generated using ChatGPT. So this is a simple example of Streamlit, and the Streamlit has got more things. If you go to Streamlit, Streamlit is one of the applications. There are thousands of things. So Streamlit is one of the thing. If you go, Streamlit itself has got a Streamlit tutorial there, place. There you can, add things, and then we have done so many applications using Streamlit because it is a no-code kind of tool. It's very easy to develop. So you can install the Streamlit, pip install Streamlit, right? And then you can do Streamlit hello, it will run, right? So now I can, give you a last example. Develop, I'm asking a question. Or you are a, see, when you are asking ChatGPT, you are a dietitian. recommending food for children below 10 years. Prepare a filtered chart to display age versus the calories and the food recommended. Write this Streamlit application with some sample data. I just asked one question, one time, in one thing. So let us see what happens. Yeah, so it created something, right? So I am not worried about what is inside. I just copy this. Or I have, it is here also there is a copy somewhere. Okay. Yeah, it is started on Streamlit, and then I will do. See, to learn Streamlit, there are few steps, but I'm just showing you the ready-made thing now. Okay, so now I just copied it, right? And then I'm keeping in here. I go here, new file, Python file. Put it here, and then I save as dietitian, diet.py, something like that. And then I just go to the prompt, and then I just write Python diet. I think something. Oh, sorry, Streamlit run. Streamlit run. Diet.py. So it will develop the application basically. So you can just give the chart whatever 2 years, what is the diet, 3 years, what is the diet, 4 years, what is the diet, 5 years, what is the diet, 6 years, what is the diet, 7 years, what is the diet, all the information will be. So I think Ashifa is a baby, 2 years. So or 1 to 3 years, she can give grains, fruits, vegetable, protein, dairy, healthy fats, and nothing. Right? So you develop an application, and then daily calories. Right? How much time I took?
Within a minute.
Yeah, within a minute. Right? So this is the beauty of generative AI, and this is just for a simple code, right? But we do more complex things. If you want to do a CEO job or a finance manager job, we can do within minutes, right? So that is the reason generative AI actually, changing the entire thing. And then after some time, now we have agents are coming up, and then now agentic protocols are come up. There are multiple agents can talk to each other and things like that. There are so many things have come up, and using that, people are developing machine, intelligence to machines. And this machine can act, much better than a human, right? It can be much better human coder, much better teacher, much better doctor, right? Everything is possible, and we have proved this, right? But it is not, not like a human in all the sense. They are actually giving certain task and we try to automate it. Now, after some time, there is something called artificial super intelligence, where machines will have emotions, right? Uh, they can have understanding. They will have empathy, right? So that is where the another 5 years. So now, when you select, the what to study, right? You have to be very careful, because if you want to get a Einstein brain, you can just take a chip and then put it in your brain, right? So now you have BCI, brain chip computer interface, right? You can program your brain. You don't have to go and then go to a college and learn so many things. You can take my brain and then put it in a chip and then put basically copy to your brain. That is possible soon. I mean, we don't have to wait for long those things, right? So here we are talking about consciousness, beliefs, right? So there may be people, machine will be fighting for, I am, my God is Rama, my God is Krishna, mine is somebody else, right? So machine can fight each other if they program like that, right? And they can have desires, and then they can have cognitive capability, emotional intelligence, subjective experience, right? Behavior intelligence. So all these are, we are not too far, right? So we have to be very careful in choosing what is for the future, right? So where the machines are becoming intelligent. So it is like the days of calculator, where people were schools, calculator were not allowed in many of the Indian schools, right? Even today. But then with AI now, from LKG to 12th standard, some countries, UAE, Singapore, and a lot of countries have already changed their curriculum, right? So with this new way of learning, whatever we have learned so far is all gone, right? Whatever our brain need to be emptied, basically, and we have to reprogram everything. So this is the future, right? So this is what AI is. So that is what we are trying to bring you on table. So I am not a expert in AI actually. So, but I know things which I deeper when I started reading about things and I'm listening what is happening. I can understand there are things. So many things can happen, right? It can replace many of the current jobs, and the new job will come. So, but new job will be just prompting. You should know how to prompt, right? You need to have like the domain knowledge in order to validate certain things, right? And then whatever you want, you can get it done, right? So this is the uh, uh, I mean magic about AI. So now you know what is AI, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is Turing test, or how do we test intelligence of a machine? Turing
They
test.
will
Yeah, the machine is
test of ability to exhibit different behavior equivalent to that human.
yeah, the interrogator is asking questions, and he cannot identify whether it is coming from a machine or a human.
Human or computer.
Yeah. Okay. So that is one, and deep learning, right? Deep neural network, and then ChatGPT, at least expansion of ChatGPT, generative pre-trained transformer. It's one of the deep learning methods, uh, and then it is actually simulating the human brain, and we are actually training the machines, right? And then for doing the training, you need data, and the people who has got they have data, they are actually richer. So far it was like that. Now we have something called generative AI. They can also generate data out of existing data, new data. You can create a Hollywood movie after some time. $100 million Hollywood movie you can create within 1 hour. That is the $100 million is the spending you need to if you want to create a Hollywood movie today. And it's already we are in a stage where we can have 5 minutes movies much better than Hollywood movie without any cost. What you need is a GPU powered, a highly efficient machine. Okay, now this is about the movie, the content, and so many other things. Now, what about the programming, right? So the past code. Somebody wanted to look at the old Java code or old, mainframe code and other things, right? Which is very difficult for a person to go and then look at all the thing, right? So now, you know, now new tools are coming up which can do all this automatically. It can generate the code, which can validate the code, which can test the code, right? So the programming as it is, there is no charm now, right? There is no like doctors and software engineers and all, right? These are all kind of charm. Doctors, they were actually giving a lot of, uh, uh, I mean, basically they are, it's like they are actually protecting the human life, right? So they are very much important. And software engineers are protecting the business. They run their thing, right? So 90% of the whole business is being done driven by IT. And then software engineers are one who are coding them, and they are highly paid, right? And all the same thing will stay for some more time maybe, but then eventually a new system will come up, right? And then other side, quantum computing is also coming up. Things will become much more fast. People are now thinking about parallel universes, right? Beyond the universe, things are there. Einstein theory is all kind of limitation was the human brain. Now that is, quantum computing is actually going beyond that. So all these are happening. So we are entering into a new world, right? So that is where the 2035 year of 2035 will be the super AI age all the time. It may come before that, right? And 2029 is the time we are talking about. Machine become as intelligent as human. That's called artificial general intelligence. So they can do task, but they will not do things which are not assigned to them. But when it comes super intelligence, it can do things which are not assigned to it. It can take its own decision and do whatever it wants. So it will be something like it can be more dangerous than a nuclear bomb. So that is the reason UN approves the first resolution on an AI to build to make it safe and secure, right? And there are so many rules have come up. Every country has got AI laws, rules, and things like that, right? Okay, so with this, I am concluding today. Any questions? And then with all this, I just given you some example of how to generate the code, streamlit, and then run some dashboard, right? It's a quick recap whatever we have done today. Okay, so